So they're shuffling up. They're getting ready to go, but very excited to be able to bring this game to you. So I think they're don't know who they're calling for. Okay, they have gotten the note that they can start. So, Randall, so if you're Whizzard, what do you know you're on the clock. NEH playing fast. He's already seen this deck in Swiss, so he knows what's up. What are you trying to do if you're Whizzard?
Well, first of all, you're hoping that he doesn't have sweeps week because any other kind of economy he has, you can kind of control, and you will control, which is part of why I love playing him right now so much. But I'm not used to this big rig style that Win is playing here, so I can't really speak to what I would do with this. I mean, I know mine is more control, get in anywhere I can, lots of knights, lots of fem, get those early accesses. I mean, he's going to try to take his time here, but he can't take that much with this NEH deck, so I want to see how he handles this.
I will tell you, the card on both sides that was most impactful last game, Chris really surprised Zach when he installed an Ottman at 4.
Right.
Really surprised him, neutralized his Lotus Field. And Zach, though, with the singleton closed accounts, really did work, and you could see the surprise on Chris's face. So I'm
now
curious,
they kind of know what's coming, right?
They know what's coming. So very curious to see how they adapt in this game.
Entirely different game. All right, there we go. Cotty for that early economy. Well, not early economy, but late economy, setting up early. How about that?
Yeah, so he gets that online. Now, I know in their last game, early on, I think Chris face-checked an Architect that clearly, kind of snowballed Zach into some early economy. I think he got a pad campaign off that draw. So looks like he's playing a little bit more cautiously to get his economy rolling online this game.
Yeah, he can't afford to run into anything. I mean, there's Architect is not as big right now because nothing in archives for him to bring back, but he can still install out of hand. And anything he installs, Chris can turn around and trash.
Yep.
But if he puts that ice down, now suddenly you're getting way, way, way behind tempo.
Yep. And I know, at least from watching Chris both on stream and in his games, he plays Whizzard the way he needs to be played. He is very aggressive in checking remotes. I know Zach, I've played against or seen him play enough. Zach can be one to get, to get cute with the Astro installs in an open server just to see if he'll check.
Naked, yeah.
But I will tell you, I think he, now playing Chris, I mean, Chris has been very actively running the cards that Zach's installed, whether behind ice or not. So
Zach
we've got
actually having to
mandatory.
defend his things here. I think he's figured out that he's going to have to spread his ice a little thinner against this Whizzard deck.
And so this is the challenge. Normally he would probably be happy to install that Sansan out there, but again, I mean, he knows from their last game and Wizard's ability that Chris can just come and put the pressure on. So we see we've got Astro in hand. We've got a wraparound. Installs the Mimic. He knows about the Architect, so he's trying to protect against that.
But now his biggest threat against NEH, there's not a whole lot of stuff you're really worried about,
All right.
actively threatening you outside of NEH.
Okay, so trashes the Sansan, and again, Whizzard, he is the single best defense against Sansan in terms of being able to pull him off R&D and keep it from breaking his tempo.
We do what we do. And it looked like the motion he was going to go back to R&D again, or yeah. So Zach was just thinking about whether to let him in.
Yeah, and I could see the David and the Plascreed. I mean, I think Chris knows those are not going to be relevant cards in this game. I don't think Zach's packing any ice that's actually big enough to where David is relevant, but got a lot of money. Let's see if this is Astro. Yep, here's the train.
Got the early one out. That's going to be tough.
All right, so Chris chasing after it, not going to give it up without a fight. Okay, so never mind. I say that. I mean, he could install David here and go back and try to trash if he wanted to. Doesn't have enough money right now. Would have to either pull money off Katie or Armitage, but clearly it's a threat at this point, and he knows. I mean, he trashed the one you saw off R&D that wasn't installed, so I am sure he is very anxious to get this off the board.
So now what would be good right here for Whizzard is that hardware that was 4chan spoiled, I guess, last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For anybody not listening, there's some stuff that's coming out supposedly on 4chan. I don't want to give it away because, fancy size business, but there's some interesting stuff coming.
So Zach has got NAPD Beal in hand, but he is broke. So I'm sure, do you just take 3 and pass?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I know he's running Sansan in here,
I
some
think he
shipments.
puts a pop-up over HQ, which makes sense. If he wants to check it, at least it'll boost Zach's money up to where he gets paid for it. So he pulls money off Katie.
And Whizzard with a ton of money.
Yeah,
really
so yeah,
quick
now
here.
he's chasing after the Sansan, no doubt. I think Chris knows what kind of threat it presents. Get it off the board before it does too much more damage.
And I mean, we know that Zach has 2 agendas in hand. We can see them. I don't know whether Wynn is going to be going after HQ aggressively or he's going to try to cut him off early.
Yep.
Because you would think, once that first Astro is scored, I wouldn't break myself if I know the second Astro is in hand. I'd rather take some time, be able to score them out back to back and really put that pressure on.
All right, so we draw into another NAPD. Probably not what he's really digging for at this point. Once the once the Sansan's off the board. So would probably be nice to get a Jackson to pitch these away.
So you said he has a pop-up window up front. Do we know what's behind that in the HQ?
I do not remember what he installed as first HQ ice.
Admin setting it again at 4, I'm guessing.
Okay, yep. Like I said, it was very impactful last game. He also runs medium, and that was what caught Zach off guard last game. He got, even after an Astro was scored, he got very aggressive with medium digs that put Zach on the back heel. I don't see it in hand, but we know from earlier on the stream, Chris is rocking self-modifying code. So, he gets that in hand. He's certainly got enough money, between Katie and Armitage going to, if he wants to present the threat, 2 credits to get through the Eli is not bad to start the medium counters. So Zach evaluating his hand, I think figuring out, all right, how do we need to sequence this?
I mean, he doesn't really have any of those economy cards, right? He doesn't have Sweeps Week, and he can't keep out a pad or another econ asset, so he's kind of struggling to find anything that'll work with him.
Yeah, I think trying to buy himself some time. Okay, so Whizzard doing Whizzard things, trashing Jackson. Probably would have been Zach would have been perfectly happy to see. Okay, so we see breaking news. So I will tell you, we saw the closed accounts in hand earlier. If you're Zach, I know he's not sitting with a big credit pile, but I'm sure Zach is eyeing those 2 cards in his hand and trying to time this to figure out when does he take Katie money and can he potentially hit the closed accounts at a time where he could potentially slow Chris down a lot.
Nice. Now R&D a little more here, trying to buy himself some time to find that next wheel in the Astro train.
All right, so we saw the Sansan install earlier. I'm going to assume Zach doesn't res here.
I mean, he's at 6 credits. Do you really want to put yourself even further behind?
Okay.
Oh, well.
Wants to cost him the click.
Shows what I know. Hold strong. Draws a crick.
Yeah, this has been an interesting include in Zach's deck. He's put that over archives pretty consistently today, and I think seen a lot of success. It's definitely caught a lot of folks off guard having this at 3 influence in NEH.
But I mean, it pulls weight. I mean, you have all those.
Oh yeah.
Those big trash cost cards.
You got a lot of targets.
The marked
in this deck.
accounts, the shipment or the Sansan grids.
Man, it's another way to draw cards off your turn. I mean, it's a great card.
And I think he has exhausted that Armitage. 12 on KD, so now I guess he's trying to save up for a big run, but that big R&D run is going to be a little tough when he still doesn't know what that ice in front is. I mean, he has David, so he can get rid of the big ice. He has Mimic, and he has the 4-strength admin, so I mean, he has everything covered, at least from a Sentry standpoint.
And he knows the ice in Zach's deck backward and forward at this point. I mean, they played a fairly long game in Swiss, and so I am sure he is well familiar to say, where do I need to set Outman, where it's going to do the most work, and what are the essential breakers I need to start making aggressive runs? And so I think he feels relatively in the driver's seat. I mean, the Enigma will temporarily slow him down, but we know from earlier in the stream, he's packing Parasites, Data Suckers, so...
it's not going to slow him for long.
Yeah, it won't. That's not a permanent solution. So another possibility, I'm sure Zach's got to be thinking, is there a potential way, can he buy himself some time either behind this Enigma? We see a Blacklist enter hand. Does he just put the breaking news down and then, leave it out for a turn and then advance and either kill Katie or closed accounts or something? I mean, that could certainly be a big tempo hit.
I mean, if he puts too many more credits on Cotty, then, I mean, he could just put down the breaking news and he could use the Astro counter and get rid of the Cotty completely, and then Chris is kind of on his back leg, right? He doesn't have any other major economy assets out. I haven't seen any in his hand. I haven't been paying close attention.
And I think it's a Sansan behind the Enigma, correct? Did I see that correct earlier?
I believe so.
And I think Zach may be trying to get up enough money to res the Sansan
and then
pop the breaking news and either kill Katie or close. Or, he's pulled money off Katie, so closed accounts at this point. And let's see if because
that's going to open up just a huge scoring window. We know that he has a BL in his hand, so at that point you have the breaking news, you have a BL, you have an Astro counter probably still out, and you're up 5-0.
At that point, I mean, you could just lay down NAPD behind Enigma and then just honestly score out behind that. I mean, at that point, Chris has to find a breaker, and he's got to find money enough to steal it. But we see the NAPD.
That just means you have less money when I close the counter.
Yep. Honestly, not a bad idea. So Chris gets on the board. We see the baby come online, which will help as Chris starts to dig for some more cards.
And plays Symmetrical Visage.
All right, so Zach. Yeah, I think this is what we're about to see, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it time?
Yep. Breaking news.
Advance
once, and then your accounts are closed. Yep. I know Zach and Chris, I'm sure, sighing as he's like, does this really have to happen 2 games in a row?
Well, I mean, this is my thing, right? Like, he only had 7, 8 credits, right? I wonder if it wasn't going to be better to trash the Cotty to think about that long game.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now he still has a chance to get those credits back up. And 8 was not really a huge damaging thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it does buy him a window, but it's not a huge window. Yeah. I think he could have played for the longer game there. I mean, he's ahead right now.
And we've got the Beal in hand, so I've got to imagine Zach's looking to go up to 5 here. Yep. Goes to 0. Why not? We know he plays, I believe he's playing Shipment from Sansan in his deck. So,
he does.
I mean, he's live. He's live on match point right now.
And so, yep, Chris is going to shift his focus very heavily to R&D because he can't let a single card through. You let something through, you know the first card you let through there is going to be an
Whizzard
agenda.
Trash. Yeah, so where do you go? I mean, do we just try to peel off of R&D at this point?
I mean, that's what you have to do.
I think that seems like the best plan.
Yeah, if he has it in his hand, he has it. You can't really run the pop and give him any more money than he already has.
All right, so we were up to 4 points on Chris's side. Pulls the Astro that I'm sure Zach was fishing for.
Yep. But, I mean, it's still 5-4. It's still, on game point on that back leg.
Yeah, and with Sansan and the Astro counter, I mean, he can first click draw and still find it and win off of that.
Right. I mean, do you really want to, in this low credits, situation, do you really want to run and trash the Sansan City Grid? I mean, I know you'd love to, but even with Whizzard, that's going to be 2 credits, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're sitting on 1 credit with Armitage being your main source of income.
Yeah, I like Chris's play here. I mean, he knows R&D is his best shot at this point. Would be nice to have the medium threat at this point, but we are where we are, and he's going to go see 1 card at a time. So pop up. It's giving him a little incremental tax.
I'm sure he's glad to see that it's just a pop-up in front there.
Chris has said the word trash many times today, and I'm sure it never gets old when you're playing Whizzard.
I'm going to get a little token made that when I want trash them, I just pop it on the table. Get a little button. Zach, nothing saying to do right now. I mean, he may take a turn to make money. I mean, really, Chris is going to be able to run R&D only 1, maybe 2 times in a turn. He's not going to see that many extra cards. And once he gets a little bit of money, he can play that hedge fund. He can try to fortify R&D a little bit more.
Yeah,
because Chris still needs access to agendas.
Yeah. Oh, and the winning agenda comes in hand.
And
Yeah, this is done.
Boom, boom, and counter.
Yeah, master.
Over.
Well, that can happen. So well played by both players. NEH got there. I think the closed accounts clearly enough of a tempo swing to to get Zach across the finish line and buy him enough time to score out those points. But great game. Enjoyed seeing both of these players on stream.